Hello, it's Wednesday, and I've got my projects prepped for taking with me on vacation, and I'm very excited to get started on them. I've got, it's so wonderful. As my last video, I showed you my Sewers Club latest project, Hayden's handbag. This is it, and I'm using this on the trip for, I'm storing, I've got fabric pieces in the pocket here for the pouches that I'm going to be making. And then I like this handle because you can use it, you know, to carry, but then it just slips over to the side here and stays out of the way, and it doesn't hang down. It just is very convenient and doesn't get in the way. So I've got in here, this is like, I'm using this for thread packets for different projects that I'm going to be working on down there with all the different colors. And I'm also, so one of the I'm making some pouches with this material for a person who we won't name, who likes foxes. This is going to be a pouch, and I got from a neighbor who's cleaning out her stuff. She gave me some pieces of lace and some scraps, and I'll be using some of those pieces in my slow stitching journal. But in the meantime, I thought this might look really cute on here. So I'm going to be adding that lace as a decorative item on this pouch. I'm excited about that. I think it goes really well. So I've got that with me and figured out. So that's the pouch. That's the front and the back of the pouch. So that's one of the projects, and I'm using the Peacemaker pouch pattern, just in case you wanted to know, for that. I'm also using the techniques from that for making all these pouches. I had these that I got from a discount store laying around, and those will fit perfectly into the bag with the foxes. So I've got zippers for those projects. Very exciting about that. Right, that goes in here in my thread container, but I wanted to show you the lace before I set that aside. Also have old zippers. This is from dressmaking days that I had these zippers that all will match these pouches, the cap. So this is the cap panel that I had gotten. It has the border around it. So the sizing for the Peacemaker pouch is 10.5 by 12.5. That wouldn't work for I just didn't like the looks of how it would look I couldn't possibly make it 12.5 for one thing, and which was width, and then I'd have to cut off parts for the 10.5. So what I've done here is I've made these squares are now 11 inches square, and I'm going to be making pouches that are 11 inches square. And so there's blue cats, and I was able at our local Marden's to find this fabric, which goes perfectly with, it's in the fabric line for these cats. So I've got that for the back side. So I've got them all prepped with the fleece. So they're ready to be, I'm gonna quilt these. So those will be ready to be quilted down there. So that will be my machine sewing. I also have the Drunkard's Blossom, which you've seen many times. That's also ready to be machine sewn down there. And I got the binding prep so I don't have ironing problems because I don't have space for ironing big things down there. So I have that ready. Also, I have this pattern all prepped and ready. It's in here. So that's all it's all fused. I have to just do the hand sewing and then do some quilting on it. So that project is ready to go. I also wanted to, this will be my first hand sewing project, I think, while I'm down there. If you recall, we were working on the slow stitching journal earlier with Jean Kept in Stitches. She was teaching us 28 stitches from this book that I got on Amazon. And we're making a slow stitching journal. So this is the front and back. I haven't started that yet. All I did was the stitches. So I got this prepped so that I can work on hand stitching this part of it first. And I'm doing a split stitch. I decided to do the split stitch for my letters. So I have that in this beautiful project bag that was made with my friends as a project that we did as a group. Thank you, Edie, for sharing that with us. And then I'm going to be using these threads. These are, I got these on when Joanne was clearancing out, and I think I only paid like 80 cents. No, maybe not even that much. But anyway, I got this really cheap. It was under $1 for sure. So that's another project. You know, I'm going to also be working on, I'm also bringing this along, Edie, for my hand sewing, so I can wear that. This is something that we also, Edie and her sister Judy, who's passed, well, she was passed in an accident last summer. But anyway, the three of us had made us each one of these. Has a chatelaine. It has that's filled with walnuts. And anyway, we have this for wearing around your neck when you're sewing and putting all your stuff in, so you don't have it all over the table next to you and lose it, which is what happens at my mother-in-law's. So I decided to bring this along, and that will solve that problem. See? And I'm going to be bringing all the squares that so there's what, 9 squares that I haven't hand embroidered yet. So I'm going to be bringing those squares along. And then I don't know if I had showed you, but as you saw, there's these blocks around that are the sashing. I don't have the wool for those circles, so I decided to just make the size squares with that. That's going to be going around. And I'll probably just leave this empty. We'll see. But that's my plan right now. So those are all my projects that I'm bringing with me to work on while I'm visiting family. So I wanted to share that with you before I pack up my bag with all that stuff. I gotta get my sewing machine cleaned and maintenance and oiled and ready to go. Taking my Berdina 430. It's my travel machine. So looks like I'm not getting the Bella Rose box until next week, so I'll open that when I get back at some point in September. All right, have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye.